Township Board meeting on this 15th day of November, 2021. I would ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal, would you lead us, please?
Certainly. Dear Lord, as we meet here tonight to conduct matters of business, we ask that you guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon these activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. And as always, we thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, Mark, thanks. Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine.
Present.
Krug is absent. Tucker.
Present.
Gopal.
Here.
Kotrick.
Present.
Kessler.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
We have 6 board members present.
Thank you, Tom. All right, I'd also like to know for the record that our Township Attorney Jack Belzer and our Operations Manager Tom Broker are also present. Additionally, the following Township officials are also present virtually via Zoom. Is our assessor?
Let's see.
Doesn't look like she's here. I know our zoning administrator, Mike Deem, is here, and our township engineers, Ellen and Melissa Lawrence. Tom, will you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting?
Yes. To the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded to be shown on public access television, Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed, at which time further instruction will be given. For tonight's meeting, there is a public hearing on a proposed street improvement special assessment district for Golden Shores, during which public comment will be accepted. All other public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the Township's website at www.fentontownship.org.
Thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to the first business in order is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Kotrick.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. The next business in order is the meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the minutes from the November 1st regular meeting and also is the November 3rd special meeting. Are there any corrections or requests or revisions to these meeting minutes?
Small typo in the discussion where Kate was talking about prevailing wage information. It says media. I think it means to say median.
Median, yeah.
Median?
Yeah.
Median. I think we're just missing an N.
Yep.
Okay, spell check didn't catch it there.
Okay, not because
It wouldn't.
spelled media
It's
properly.
I will
All right.
fix that.
That's all I
Any
saw.
other changes? All right, the meeting minutes will stand approved as amended. All right, next business order is expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices?
I have one question on the charge at Dick Canberra for transmission replacement. Is that the fire chief's stuff?
I think it was, to say Tahoe?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be the fire chief's vehicle.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's kind of new.
That's a new, I was gonna say, it's new.
It's 2016. So he's got a fair number of hard miles on it, but he'd have to explain what exactly went wrong, but
Yeah.
I remember him mentioning it too.
He is
That's
currently.
why he's not here.
He's currently enjoying dinner with his mother. He asked me if he could have the evening off, and I said yes.
I just thought that was expensive. You know, when you have that extensive of repairs, you contemplate replacement, but
Yes.
How many miles has he got, Tom? You know?
I do not know.
Okay.
I'll find out for the board. All right, any other questions? All right, hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $397,967.81 for payment.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Again, Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Krug is absent. Kotrick?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, the expenditures stand approved as presented. Moving on, the next business in order is public hearings. This is on proposed street improvement, Special Assessment District, Golden Shores. This is the first hearing. This is a public hearing on the creation of a Special Assessment District to repave Golden Shores Drive, Golden Circle, and Golden Court. The total estimated cost of the project is $456,000. The board will now accept public comment on the following: the creation of the Special Assessment District, the proposed boundaries of the district, the necessity of the improvement, the preliminary plans for the improvement, and the estimated cost for the improvement. I'll now open it up for public comment. Is there anyone attending tonight's meeting that would like to address the board regarding the proposed Special Assessment District, Golden Shores? Yes, sir. Would you mind stepping up to the mic and giving your name? It's right over there. You can adjust the mic. And if you would state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, my name is Dan Porter. I live at 13284 Golden Circle. And just for the record, I'm new to the area. We just bought in first started last June. It just seems to me that isn't there some kind of state funds or federal grants that can help us with the cost, offset the cost of this?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, I'm asking.
Yeah, now there's, for subdivisions, there's nothing. We've got county primary roads that get funded through the road commission. We get some of, tiny bit of money that we use for the, what's the terminology? Local roads. Subdivision roads, there's nothing, and every subdivision in the township is faced with the same situation. You know, can't tell you how many we've had even this year, but I think you guys have caught it in time so that the cost is manageable. Because sometimes they get so far out of hand that you essentially end up reconstructing the road. That's roughly $1 million a mile. That gets really, really expensive. So just went through it in my subdivision last year. I think we paid about $6,000 each. I'm really, really happy with the results of it. But I wish, as do all the other folks in subdivisions.
Question is that you pay a gasoline tax for road repair.
Yeah,
that is a public road.
Yeah, but it goes to that goes to expressways, the gas tax, your state highways, and your county primaries. That all goes there. It does not filter down to the level of subdivision roads.
Thank you.
Sure.
Just to point out though, the road commission does cover the cost of engineering and inspection, which is based on this estimate about $43,500. So there's a little bit of help. It's not a huge amount.
Good evening, yes.
And I'm at 2437 Golden Shore Drive. A question that I have, so when Mr. Porter referred to any monies available, my question is, have things changed with community development block grant fund money? Because I used to be in charge of that for 8 years at London Township. And we did do a street paving project in a subdivision off of Grand One Road. I'm not saying that people in our subdivision are rich, by no means. They're most generally, all of them are on a fixed income. I'm the one that went door to door all by myself, so I kind of met everybody. But I think, if I knew what the guidelines were nowadays with the community development block grant money, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to having that looked into. I know if the money isn't used, you don't get to roll it over to the next year, because I tried my hardest to spend every penny that we ever got in money, and I was like adamant that I was gonna spend it. So I just, when Mr. Porter mentioned that, I know that it was on the paperwork that Mr. Broker had given me that said community development block grant fund money, and it wasn't checked, that box was not checked. So that threw up a red flag in my mind, and I did tell a lot of the residents that I was gonna ask about that, if that's something that can be looked into. I know that this is going forward, nothing's going to be done until '22, so you're all gonna be on a new dollar amount for '22.
problem is, you know, we've already considered it, we're aware of the circumstances. The problem with that is that the area has to be classified as low to moderate income.
But we don't know that.
Well,
You don't know that.
we know what areas are marked that way in the township, and there are very limited areas. So we've done some road.
Based on our assessed values and taxable values in
not-
there, we're not high rent districts, so.
It's not what your assessment value is.
No, I understand that.
It's based on, you know, demographic data prepared by the government as part of the, is it the census?
Census.
So
Census
you know what
material.
everyone's, okay.
We know what areas qualify. In Fenton Township, up until recently, we didn't have any. Now, recently, we've got a few small areas in the township, and we have used community development block grants for paving some road ends and things like that. Is, you know, we're typically straining to find appropriate, approvable
Right.
uses for it. But
I just wanted to ask, I told them.
yeah, I just.
One other question that I do have, because I don't want to get back up here again, but, is the financing, so Tom and I had gone over the interest rate that he used when, you know, kind of did the estimate on how much it was gonna be, the 6,000 plus, you know, the interest rate. So, I don't think the interest rate's gonna be nearly that high next year. And they are allowed to do their own financing, correct? If they wanna.
Well, there's two ways. Did we use 4% in this example?
did, and that's
Okay,
gonna be high.
because by statute, it would be 1% over the interest rate on the bonds we sell to finance the project. Right now, the bonds would probably be in the 2% range, so you'd be looking at probably 3%. But every property owner will have the option to pay it off and avoid all interest costs, either right up front or even a year or two in, and stop interest from that point forward. So that option is always there.
So they can come in and make an extra payment like you do on a mortgage.
You can pay it down, you can do whatever you want, we can make it work.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Jeff Foley. I live at 13240 Golden Circle. What exactly are you guys going to be doing with this? Because I've talked to you once and you told me you were going to gutter mill the whole entire district and then go over top of it. That was 2 years ago. And with all due respect, sir, you didn't catch this early. This road is in a horrible mess.
It's all, you have to realize it's a relative scale here, okay? I'll show you some places, we'll go riding, I'll show you some places.
I do this for a living.
Okay.
I've seen worse. This should have been done 5 years ago.
Well,
Matter of fact,
I would probably agree with that.
so you're gonna mill this down, right? You're not gonna gutter pan mill this at all? You're just gonna mill it all down? What's your contingency plan when all the clay is underneath it? What material are you gonna bring into it?
Yeah,
Can I show you on this map or this one right here?
Sure.
Okay.
If you want us to see it, you wanna go over here though.
So
Sir.
you're looking off the Torrey
Sir.
Road right here?
Sir, go over here, we can't see you there.
So when you come off the Torrey Road, all this is gonna need to be replaced, and you're gonna probably need to dig it down 6 to 8 inches, if not more, down to 12. So the question is, where's the cost gonna go from taking the dirt out? Who are you gonna do it? And what are you gonna bring back in? Most of the time, what people do on these residential roads is anything that's around in these curves or entrance off of the road needs to be digged down by state, I think it's 12 to 18 inches. So my question to you is what are you gonna do? What's the plan, and what's the contingency plan when you certainly have a certain amount of money and it's gonna go over? Because you're gonna have to pay to have the clay taken out unless you find a free dump site, which is possible. You're probably gonna have to bring in a couple thousand tons of 1x3 to make a base. And then on top of that, you're probably gonna have to have either limestone or crushed concrete, depending on what your guys' logistics and laws are. So I don't know what you guys do as a base.
Have you seen the estimate yet?
So there's no.
Have you seen the estimate yet?
I haven't seen the estimate yet.
All right, it's got, into the estimate, it's got 1,610 tons of 13A. It's got a construction contingency of about $41,000. And if it gets beyond those numbers, I mean, these were none of us are engineers or road people, we leave that kind of stuff to the experts. Do you know what the base is at that point? Do you know what it consists of?
Well, that would be your guys's, we don't know what the base
I thought
is,
there'd be
you have to
someone
give us
from the
some
road commission
information.
here.
That's right.
Nope,
No.
nope,
But
generally not.
if I remember right, was this built on old farmland?
No
I
idea.
don't know.
Wouldn't think so.
Well, everything was probably.
Everything was
on a-
probably farmland.
So
Yeah,
I
at
was
one point in
told-
time or another.
I was told at one time where Golden Court was, that used to be a pond.
Yeah.
So my question is, again, I do this, I bet you there's a bunch of fill dirt underneath those houses and stuff where people just brought in basically junk dirt. So my question is like, what is your contingency plan when the money goes, it's gonna be far over the money that you're asking for? Because if you're gonna gutter pan this, mill it, which is probably a 8-foot mill, you're gonna leave the crown of the road, where a lot of the damage throughout that whole entire thing is, and we call this basically putting frosting on the crack. It's basically what we do, and I don't wanna pay for it, none of these people do either. I don't mind paying for it if it's done right. I'm gonna live there, I'm 50 years old, I plan on living there until I'm 80, I don't wanna keep doing this every 10 years.
The road commission makes the call, I mean, like John said,
Yeah.
we're not road experts, we're relying on their expertise and their estimate at this point. Now, if we create the district, move forward, they will do the full engineering design, and bring back, a new estimate that they'll use to bid the project out. If it comes back 10% over what we're saying right now, there's an opportunity to back out.
Do they do soil borings at that point in time? Do you know?
I don't know if that's part of their routine or not, I'd have to ask them.
Have we ever had any projects come in, go through the approval process and then go over? Because of things like these.
Dartmouth Drive is the only one I can ever recall doing that, but that's such a weird, an unusual, better word, road,
Right.
with real challenges. This is just old pavement and they seem, the road commission feels very comfortable that this will take care of it. But, you know, if they get into the engineering design, find more issues, then we could always revisit it. before we
I
get
would
too far.
direct you to go talk to them at the road commission if you have, huh?
I recall they told me you guys are gonna have a meeting and discuss it with each person.
Yeah, well, you can tell them you've done that, but we're not road experts. If you've got specific questions about what they think the base is out there, how much base replacement they're gonna do, you know, all those kinds of questions, we don't know that. That's,
So when will be the next meeting, you know, and will the road commission meet?
We can, before we come back with, the next time we would have a meeting, a public hearing would be after the bids are done. So, but prior to that, we could schedule an informational meeting, have the road commission engineer here, and invite all the property owners and try to, they can answer some of those questions.
That'd be great, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that is present that would like to speak? All right, we'll move on to those that have joined us virtually via Zoom. Is there anybody that's on Zoom this evening that would like to speak to this proposed special assessment district of Golden Shores? Anybody via Zoom? All right, I will close public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
well, we've got nearly 70% people signed off on this, so.
That's one of the highest we've seen, 70%. All right, okay, resolution number 2021-38, Operations Manager Broker, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, resolution 2021-38 determines that the petitions submitted meet the over 50% requirement of the statute, approves the preliminary plans and estimated cost of $456,000, creates the Golden Shores Street Improvement Special Assessment District, which includes all properties fronting Golden Shores Drive, Golden Circle, and Golden Court, directs the supervisor to create the special assessment role, and repeals any conflicting resolutions.
All right, I'll need a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-38 as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion from the board? Hearing none, Operations Manager Broker, will you call the roll?
Excuse me, Reed,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Krug is absent, Patrick.
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution's adopted.
All right. I know you, any of you that are here this evening for that, you're welcome to stay, but if you feel that you have better things to do this evening, you certainly, I can give you a couple of minutes to exit and go home and enjoy the warmth of your homes.
See the Lions coming pulled out undefeated category. I didn't watch it, but I
What's the number of homes that did that?
beat them without the quarterback.
That encumbered.
In the district,
I counted 75, right around there.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I thought there were 79. I looked at it, but I may be wrong.
70
So,
or 79.
it is 79, that's what I thought from reading it.
Huh?
456 divided by 6, that's how many.
Vince, when is the next meeting?
Were you?
Tom, the next meeting will be determined basically after we get the bids back.
Right,
The bids?
that'll be a few months at least.
At least a couple of months.
Will we get notified in the mail again, or?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Thought you were going on.
Again, thank you everyone for showing up this evening.
We were gonna stay in Orlando this weekend. We were going to-
Tell your mom and dad I said.
I certainly will.
Take care.
Yeah, and I got back to work.
I gave your name out too, so I know you're gonna call you. She's in city of Flushing.
Yeah, we had, like, we get no.
All right, we're gonna resume the meeting. All right, the next business in order is reports. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to communications. We have the Mass Transportation Authority Customer Appreciation Day. I'm sure you reviewed it in your packet, but Tom, will you just kind of briefly go over it?
Sure, it's, in your packet, you see they're having a Customer Appreciation Day, this Thursday, the 18th, from 10 to 2. The newly named Northrop Abrams Transportation Center on Harrison Street in downtown Flint, next to the Flint Farmers Market. Free cider and donuts, all supplies last.
Thanks, Tom. All right, next business in order is adoption of ordinances. We have none this evening. Moving on to the next order of business is unfinished business. The Emergency Medical Service Agreement with MedStar, Inc. The board approved this Emergency Medical Services Agreement at its November 1st meeting with a revision to the to the indemnity language. After further review and discussion with the township attorney sitting to my left, it has been determined that the revision is not necessary. Therefore, the board is asking to reapprove the agreement. Are there any questions from the board? All right. Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the Emergency Medical Services Agreement with MedStar as presented.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Operation Manager Broker, will you call the roll, please?
Patrick.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Krug is absent, Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to new business. Universal Video Service Local Franchise Agreement with Comcast. Operations Manager, will you please review?
Yes, Township has been approached by Comcast to enter into a uniform video service local franchise agreement to provide video services within the township. The form is, or the agreement is actually a state mandated form. You just fill in the blanks. There's no real negotiation. The only options are the percentages on the franchise and PEG fees, which we've matched up with our existing franchises. So it's just a matter of approving it. They've not really gone into detail as to what extent they're providing services in our township, but I think we welcome the competition.
Thanks, Tom. All right, are there any questions from the board?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just state your name if you don't mind.
Yes, good evening, and I apologize for not arriving ahead of the meeting where I could introduce myself and say I would be available to speak to the Uniform Franchise Agreement.
Oh.
My name is Ben Miller. I am the Director of Regulatory and Government Affairs for the Heartland region. Within my government affairs footprint is what I characterize as an I-69 corridor running from Flint, Genesee County, Shiawassee County, Clinton County, Hingham County, Eaton, and Calhoun County. That, for your purposes, means I am the person you will call when you have constituents who are worried that that a pole went down or something is in their yard. Operations manager broker can give me a call. Rest assured, to each of you, I will not be out there with my trenching tool or any of the lineman equipment. I have people we will call for that. But I'll be your point of contact should you execute on this agreement. We are in the process of an expansion, as probably everyone in this room is aware. There are any number of different programs throughout the federal and state government for expanding access to broadband services. This is part of an ordinary build from ourselves. Our business services division has sold some video and broadband to some businesses in the area. For that to proceed forward, we need to have a universal franchise agreement with the township. We are already in Fenton proper, the village town of Fenton, and so we're hopeful that you will approve this, and we can begin to build out and provide more services to the residents of the township. Sorry,
Thanks.
I'm trying to be quick since I was not on the agenda per se.
That's all right, and I apologize for not knowing that you were out there and wanted to speak, so.
That's quite all right. I shouldn't expect just because I have my jacket on that I wouldn't be noticed, but.
Does the board have any questions for Ben?
Comcast really own NBC?
We do,
I wasn't aware of that until I saw your letterhead with your name on it, so.
yes.
Big outfit. So what you're doing is you're spinning off distribution rights, selling local franchises, and they're gonna be
No,
providing?
we will provide Comcast service.
Comcast service?
Comcast internet, video, well, the whole suite of products will
Really?
be available.
Do you have any idea when you'd roll it out into the township?
That is an operations question, and so unfortunately today I can't give you an exact.
Well, I'm just thinking
timeline.
ballpark. Are you talking?
It's here.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
our business services team we're surrounding you now, and so our business team has sold, has entered into principal agreements with some businesses in the area to provide service, and from there, once this agreement is executed, we'll be able to light that up and begin building out.
Are you bringing in fiber? What are you bringing in?
We have several different methodologies for deliverance. Obviously, as initially a cable company, we have a hybrid fiber coax that delivers typically to the home, but that is off of a fiber backbone. So what we, as a question, as a technical exercise, typically fiber to the prim is the terminology. We don't typically do that, but there are certainly circumstances where, depending on the neighborhood or the community or where the plant is, that would be possible.
Well, if you got us surrounded, we surrender. Please come on in, and we could use a little competition, I think.
Well, Ben, I appreciate it. I was approached about 4 months. I own the building here on Fenton Road, and I was happy to be able to offer competition to my tenants. And I think offering competition to our residents is nothing, I mean, I welcome competition.
You get service?
They've already got the cable sitting there. Actually, they're installing my
Without a
cable.
Uniform Video Services local franchise agreement?
It's sitting in a roll. They
Okay.
can't install it in the building.
All right.
They brought it over the pole.
Boy,
It's
this about
sitting
went
there.
south really fast.
No, it's like I said, if you'll note, for the record, I was very particular in how I was phrasing that, trying to be very.
It's all taped, you know
Yeah,
this,
oh,
right?
I'm aware.
All right, all right.
As a former
It's
county
still in a
commissioner-
roll.
As a former county commissioner myself, I'm well aware of how the record works here, so I do appreciate it.
No, I think it's gonna be great for the residents of Fenton Township, so competition is always good.
Thank you.
More options. Any questions from the board? Nothing else for Ben? Nothing else? All right, I need a motion to approve the Universal Video Service Local Franchise Agreement with Comcast of Flint, Inc. as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Motion's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Reed.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Next under new business is Thompson Road Corridor Water Improvement Agreement, Engineering Design. I'm gonna just take about a minute, and there's been several things in the paper, so most people probably know. Hannah from Tri-County Times, MLive has done a story on the $6.5 million the township has received from the county. But so I'm just gonna go through this at about a 30,000 foot level very quickly. And Fenton Township has high incidence of arsenic levels in the aquifer that Fenton Township residents use. I think when I gave my presentation and close, I think that 18 out of the 20 wells that were tested at double the federal level, which is 20 parts per billion, which was lowered from 50. Right now, the township currently has no municipal water, therefore all residents who have high arsenic levels must use costly mitigation methods. I'm one of those. Our schools, all 4 of them, have high levels of arsenic and spend money for mitigation. Working with Genesee County to solve the problem, it was discovered that this could be done using a multi-jurisdictional approach. So Grambling, Mundy, and Fenton Township combined our resources, and along with the availability of ARPA money, we found that we could bring municipal water to Fenton residents. Along with Mundy Township Manager Chad Young, I gave a presentation to Genesee County Commissioners asking for $6.5 million of ARPA money for the project. Commissioners unanimously voted for the entire $6.5 million. The next step in the process is the Fenton Township Board authorizing our portion of the engineering cost to start the project. Both Mundy and Grambling Townships have already approved the expenditure for the water improvement agreement. That kind of gives you just a 30,000 foot view. Is there any questions from the board?
I guess this isn't specific about the engineering, but when will we have sort of or estimates of how much revenue we think will be brought in through fees and the structure for that?
Tom and I had our initial meeting with Baker Tilly with regards to putting together a proposal for that. We have received their proposal and probably will have that before the board at the next meeting.
And
So
they'll do a rate study that will provide those numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board at all? All right, I need a motion to approve the 2021 Thompson Road Corridor Water Improvement Agreement for the engineering design cost as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, the motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Kessler.
Yes.
Krug is absent. Reed.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Gopel.
No.
Motion carries.
All right. Next under new business, resolution number 2021-39, relocation of Enid Boulevard right-of-way. Treasurer Tucker, would you?
Sure.
Thank you.
As I think you all know, I've been working with some of the residents to file a circuit court lawsuit to move the road right-of-way to where the road actually is. For reasons that we do not understand, decades ago, Enid was put somewhere other than the road right-of-way that shows up in the plats that are in the area. We've kind of completed all that. We had a big call-in conference with the court, to hear everybody's opinions on it. It's ready to be finalized, and last week I got an email from the Attorney General's office. They wanted a resolution from the township going along with the road right-of-way relocation. I'm not sure the statute actually requires that, but we shall humor the Attorney General's office. And that's essentially what all this says, is that the township doesn't have any objection to the relocation of the road right-of-way, so that it actually matches up with the physical pavement.
Is there any, argument against this from anybody?
The only thing I ever heard, and we had to mass mail to everybody within
Yeah,
300 feet, and
yeah.
there's a bunch of defendants. There was concern that the roadway was gonna get moved or
Okay.
widened. And, you know, that's not what's going on with this. This is simply.
Okay, so no,
There's no real legit issue with this. You're just matching up reality with what the papers or the
yeah,
old plat show.
I just can't,
Yeah.
I was just, people like to argue,
Yes, they do.
so.
Well, I know that this issue came up on the zoning board of appeals on several occasions when it was very difficult because some of the people wanted to build like a detached garage and the like. And if you looked at the plat, it looked like they were building it right in the
middle of
right
the road.
way.
Yep.
You know, as if, right, it's in the middle of the road. And unfortunately, some of those people we couldn't help because the way that it's now drawn, we couldn't make that variance for them and allow them to do it. And they're probably, you know, a few of the people that are involved in their
Right.
lawsuits because they were really between a rock and a hard place on, you know, we own this land, but we can't really do anything with it because people think there's a road here and there's not.
I remember
So
going
the-
there.
Yes.
When I was on the ZBA,
Yes,
looking at it and I was
looking at it
going.
and going, what happened here?
Yeah.
So it's good that
I
they're
was
going to
surprised.
rectify that situation.
Yeah, there's a guy at the Attorney General's office that handles all these, and he tells me he's done at least a couple hundred of these for the road right of ways. I don't understand how you can miss that often. And this isn't even
It's-
close. I mean, this is.
I think it's like a
Right.
bike path and on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the people are
Over
gonna
time.
walk where you know,
Shortest distance.
shortest distance, whether you got sidewalks or not, and they're
Yeah.
gonna drive that same way.
Yeah. But I was surprised at how many there are, and.
That is
so
a lot.
This scenario
Yeah.
plays out everywhere, you know, okay, news, learn something new.
Any other questions from the board or comments? All right, hearing none. Resolution number 2021-39, Operations Manager Broker, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, I'll just paraphrase the resolving clause. Pursuant to the provisions of MCL 560.226, Township Board here agrees with and supports the relocation of the Enid Boulevard right-of-way as requested by the plaintiff in Easler v. Dickerson et al., which is currently pending in the Genesee County Circuit Court.
Thanks, Tom. All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion from the board? Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Kotrick,
Yes.
Krug is absent, motion carries, resolution is adopted.
Thanks, Tom. All right. Next under new business is the proposed 2022 Fenton Township meeting schedule. Operations Manager Broker, will you review that, please?
Yep, I just noticed the typo, but we'll cover that. The board discussed the change to the meeting schedule at a recent special meeting, and so we're going, what's proposed now is first and third Wednesday. The draft you have in front of you says 6 p.m. We did agree on 6:30, so we'll make that correction. Planning Commission is sticking with the, correct me if I'm wrong, John, second Thursday?
Yes, that's correct.
And with their recently changed starting time of 6 p.m., ZBA is sticking with fourth Tuesday at 7 p.m. And as a result, the only meeting that has to be changed from the designated date is the December ZBA meeting, which is backed up a week to stay away from the holidays. No other meeting dates got to be altered, which is the first.
All right, thanks, Tom. Are there any questions from the board?
Wednesday's the only day I can't make May through September, so I'll be missing 6 months of meetings if it's on Wednesdays.
Does the time make a difference?
No.
Well, I gotta join that league.
I don't have an issue, you know, as long as I have enough notice, I can make it any day.
Discussed at the special meeting, and you weren't there, so, and I'd hate to not have you.
6 months is a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Monday's my golf league, but I had nothing to do with this. And I can, as you know, I can barely get here. Right, Mark?
See ya.
Yeah, we don't start till 5, so.
But not if we move it till 6:30, right? I mean, you were making it
Yeah,
here
no, I
at
couldn't,
7:30.
yeah, I couldn't do
so,
that. It would
yeah.
have to be 7:30 for me to get here.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to stay the same. That's what it'd have to be. Are there any other alternatives?
We talked about those at the meeting, the special meeting, and again,
I can do Tuesday.
I can do
Wasn't-
Tuesday. I can do any day but Wednesday.
the time was important to me. Mondays seem to be, for most people, at least that I've talked to, is it's a tough day for everybody. It's always been a tough day for myself, being in business, but it's also a busy day for parents, everything. The rest of the days really, Wednesday is usually the day that is the easiest, but,
Yeah.
you know, he's too important to.
Well, I can do Tuesday or Thursday though. I mean, I don't know. I
Well,
can't
we
remember
talked
what we
about
talked
that,
about.
and
I didn't bring the other options with me.
'Cause I remember Tom did
Should
some
we-
analysis, this was the best, but, you know, if we're trying to push the time forward.
When do we need this by, Tom?
Well,
We have to adopt the meeting schedule before December 1st, and this is our last board
Oh, okay.
meeting.
And I think when you looked at that spreadsheet, you don't have that with you, do you?
Not here, I can get it easily enough.
Because I think the big problem was, is when you looked at the spreadsheet, so many meetings would have had to have been changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On
we're up-
Tuesday and Thursday, I know they were bad. Friday's gonna be bad, and Monday's bad.
You had a lot of if Tuesdays and Thursdays, you had a lot of conflicts with the ZBA and the planning commission. I forget all the.
I mean, Monday might not be optimal, but it's been, I mean, we've been doing it for 4 years here. I mean, you know, I know it's I don't care. I can do it on Saturday, it doesn't matter to me. But I'm just saying, I think 6 months is a long time to, no matter what the reason, to,
No, I agree, that's just
So
not.
I'm just saying,
Could-
Monday inconvenient.
Why don't we
as it
just
is.
move the time to 6:30 on
Yeah.
Mondays and just keep it on Mondays?
Doesn't work for me then, same reason. So if we wanna go earlier, if earlier is the priority, we gotta go Tuesday or Thursday and just manipulate, if you gotta change the dates, then you gotta change the dates, but,
Thursday's gonna be the toughest, I can tell, because of Thanksgiving, things like that, probably.
I can go pull print out copies of that analysis spreadsheet.
I would rather move it for Monday if we can, so I would like to take the time right now
Sure.
to have you go upstairs, let's take a look at it and let's find the option. I think it's important, I think for our residents, being 6:30, I think is gonna be better for them,
maybe
the
have
people I've
Kessler
talked
join
to.
my golf league.
He's been playing in that golf league a long time, and
Oh, you've never seen him hold a golf club before.
League champs this year?
Yeah, baby.
Well, speaking
is he
of
that good?
long meeting nights, if you
Yeah.
want to drive back to Lansing. If you will be so kind, my card is in here.
I was gonna say, is your card in here?
My card is in here.
Thank
Not
you.
having
Yep.
fun, Ben? What's up, man?
Well, I
Come on, man.
certainly love myself some local government meetings, believe you me.
I got
You're a
both.
liar.
Hey, 6 years on the Calhoun County Board of Commissioners, man.
Don't care.
Well, that explains the
That-
bald head.
That's right, I had hair back then. I will leave my cards for you, for anybody else with the township that might need them. But I am always available, that's my cell phone number and my email. So as things move forward, there are different concerns. You mentioned, my good friend, Chad over in Mundy. He often calls with constituents who have issues, so, I would extend the same courtesy to all.
You know, since we've got a few minutes, I was gonna ask this, but, I mean, are you planning on making a presence, a considerable presence here in Fenton Township? Or just taking, concentrating more on businesses? Because, you know, when you were coming up Fenton Road, and I know it costs money, and,
Yes.
you know, that's only a, 40,000 square foot building, so
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, it's a large building, but
Your payback
are you
is
playing,
merit.
are you, right, but I
Yeah.
mean, you're planning on going throughout the township then, and being able to
We-
offer our residents,
We would
an
like
option.
to close gaps where they exist, and where our plant, wherever there is existing plant, it is always more cost effective to
build from that node. So the more plant that we have, the more that's lit up, the more we can build out. And so I think as we're beginning to, you know, it is, you mentioned a big company, and there are a lot of people above me. I know that the title sounds really nice, but there are a lot of people above me. And those decisions, and those conversations, and our market expansion are all things we're considering. So I can't sit here and tell you regrettably that it'll be on this date that we have all of the township covered. But it is something we are going to be looking at over a number of years.
Sounds like it's sort of fan-driven, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Tom, look at Tuesday. You know
So
what,
do
it
you
just
have
sticks in my
to-
head. Thursday was the worst.
That tells you
Tuesday
that-
was the second best.
First and third Tuesday
Not
looks,
in my
just at
personal
first
opinion,
glance, might be
I
a
have a
best option.
colleague who does
Or
have
you have to
that.
move a couple of them because of
So-
elections.
We are growing there. as
But
well.
that's what it was, Tom. I remember the conversation.
Yep.
All right, as Tom passes this out, Tom and I remember looked at this, spent a lot of time on this, and I think that the big thing with going with Tuesday, which would still be a great option, keeping the time the same, was it was just elections. So I don't think that's a big thing, whereas I think
two.
Thursdays,
Yeah, that's just two.
yes, two. So to me, I would be happy moving it to a Tuesday at the 6:30 time, because again, you're talking two.
I'm good with it.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's an unusual year. Normally, you'd have 4 meetings moved, because in this example, for 2022, November, the first Tuesday, elections are the Tuesday after the first Monday. So if the first falls on a Tuesday, then the board meeting is not election day. That's not gonna happen too often. So in most years, at least the even numbered years where we know we have August and November, you're gonna be moving meetings for both of those months. Whether we just pick a different day or don't wanna put them on Mondays actually, because that doesn't help, but, you know, if Wednesday's not an option, I would agree first and third Tuesday is probably the next best.
I think that is, I think, Tom, you and I talked about that is gonna be our best bet. I think that's our second choice. Does anyone have a conflict with that? So why don't I, have somebody make a motion, to change the motion to the second and, or the first and third Tuesdays at 6:30.
I just did that.
Oh, you already did that?
I know.
Oh. Okay.
You asked.
Did you or did you not?
I just didn't wanna repeat what you said. Yeah, I did it.
Okay, do I have a
Support.
second? All right, motion's been moved and seconded.
Sorry, who seconded?
Kessler.
Mr. Kessler.
The cause of
Operations
all this
Manager,
trouble.
will you please call the roll?
So this is a motion to approve the schedule with that change?
Change.
Okay, not a motion just to change the number.
Correct.
Right.
First and third Tuesday at 6:30 PM.
Didn't you hear me, Tom? That's what I said.
Yes, I got it, it'll be right in the minutes.
All right.
All right, Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Reed,
Yes.
carries.
All right, next under news business is schedule public hearing for 2022 Fenton Township budget. I'm sure every one of you has had a chance to review the memo in the packet, but our operations manager can provide additional explanation.
Pretty self-explanatory. Back, first of September, I sent out a preliminary draft, and with this packet, I sent out a preliminary public hearing draft. It's been updated somewhat since September, and I'll continue to work on it between now and the public hearing, and the December 6th packet will include the final public hearing draft of the 2022 budget. I don't expect significant changes from the one you got this weekend, but then we just need to schedule the public hearing for that meeting.
All right, thanks, Tom. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, I need a motion to schedule a public hearing on the 2022 Fenton Township budget to be held at the December 6th, 2021 Township Board meeting.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Again, Operations Manager Broker, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Krug is absent, Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next business in order is board comment. Is there anyone on the board who has additional comments or concerns? Hearing none, we'll move on to public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. We will now open up the meeting for public comment on an agenda or non-agenda items. First, is there anyone in the audience? No, there is not. Unless Andy's got something to say. All right, moving on to those attending tonight's meeting virtually via Zoom. Is there anyone that's attending tonight's meeting via Zoom that would like to speak on agenda or non-agenda items? All right, we should be good. If there's no other public comment, it is now 8:22 p.m. If there's nothing else, I say good night and the meeting is adjourned.